Broadcasting live from the Albay PIO News Center, providing you the most exclusive news update from all over the province. This is News at 12. News at 12. In the local scene, the Sangguniang Panlalawigan ng Albay has approved a comprehensive code for child development workers and child development teachers aimed at strengthening their welfare, professional development, and job security. The ordinance recognized the vital role of child development personnel in delivering quality early childhood care and education services across the province. Under the measure, plantilla positions will be created, minimum salary grades will be established, and qualified personnel will receive a quarterly cash incentive on top of their existing compensation and benefits. The ordinance also provides medical and dental check-ups, group insurance coverage, free legal assistance for work-related concerns, and support for enrollment in government social protection programs. Qualified honoraria-based workers will be gradually transitioned into plantilla positions within 3 years, subject to existing government regulations. The measure also creates the Provincial Early Childhood Care and Development Workforce Board to oversee programs and policies supporting child development personnel. Provincial officials said the ordinance will help strengthen the delivery of quality early childhood education and care services for young Albayanos. In other story, the Albay Provincial Health Office is supporting the second Bicol Summit on Health and Wellness Program for Persons with Disabilities, an initiative aimed at promoting inclusive health care and advancing the welfare of persons with disabilities in the region. The summit, organized by the Department of Health Bicol Center for Health Development, will be held on July 23 and is expected to gather health professionals, policymakers, advocates, and other stakeholders. Participants will discuss ways to strengthen health rights and legal protections, improve access to healthcare services, support mental health and wellness, and address barriers faced by persons with disabilities. Albay 1st District Representative Sheluk Rizal Bilagmon will deliver the keynote address, while experts from the health, government, and disability sectors will lead discussions on inclusive development and equal participation. The Provincial Health Office said the summit will help strengthen collaboration among government agencies, healthcare providers, and advocates in building a more accessible and inclusive health system for all. In other news, the Sangguniang Panlalawigan ng Albay has approved a resolution commending the Kamsur Express basketball team for winning the National Basketball League Pilipinas Residents Cup Season 8 Championship. The recognition was formalized through Provincial Resolution Number 0666-2026 during the board's regular session. Authored by 2nd District Board member Harold O. Imperial, the resolution highlights the honor and pride the championship brought to the Bicol region. Kamsur Express, led by head coach Genicius Momo Molto, secured the title after defeating Tikas Kapampangan in the deciding Game 5 of the finals on March 28. The resolution also recognized several Albayana players who played key roles in the team's championship campaign. The Sangguniang Panlalawigan said the team's achievement reflects the perseverance, discipline, and unity of Bicolano athletes and serves as an inspiration to aspiring players across the region. In the national scene, Malacanang has questioned the defense of Vice President Sara Duterte over her controversial remarks, saying her statements appear different from ordinary expressions of anger. Palace press officer Claire Castro said the vice president claims she had already spoken to someone who agreed to carry out the killing if anything happened to her. She asked what Duterte really meant if the statement was not an assassination plot or a threat. Castro also said Duterte has not denied making the remarks. Instead, she said the vice president's defense team is only trying to explain or justify why the statements were made. In other story, Malacanang is hopeful that Congress will quickly pass President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s priority bills, saying these measures are meant to provide immediate benefits to Filipinos. Palace press officer Claire Castro said the president wants the bill approved as soon as possible, despite the upcoming budget deliberations and the Senate impeachment trial. Castro said several proposed laws, including measures on health care, education, and social assistance, are still being discussed in Congress. One bill on last-mile schools has already been sent to Malacanang for the president's signature. She also said other priority measures, including the anti-political dynasty bill, the presidential merit scholarship program, and amendments to existing education and nutrition laws, continue to move through the legislative process. In other news, Malacanang said President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has revived the Philippines' efforts to defend the 2016 South China Sea arbitral ruling through diplomacy and international law. Palace press officer Claire Castro said the previous administration did not fully use the landmark ruling, while the current administration has taken a more active stand in asserting the country's rights in the West Philippine Sea. Castro said the Marcos administration continues to protect the country's maritime rights through peaceful and diplomatic means, including the removal of the Chinese floating barrier near Bajo de Masinloc to allow Filipino fishermen to return to their fishing grounds. The palace reaffirmed that the government will continue to defend the Philippines' sovereign rights without resorting to war, as the country marks the 10th anniversary of the 2016 arbitral ruling that rejected China's expansive claims in the South China Sea. And in the news outside the country, Israeli authorities have intercepted the shipment of thousands of cigarettes hidden inside pineapples that were said to be delivered to the Gaza Strip. The contraband was discovered during a routine inspection at the luxurious crossing, and officials found the cigarettes concealed inside hundreds of pineapples loaded on a truck. The shipment was purchased by an Israeli company authorized to deliver humanitarian goods to Gaza. Following the discovery, authorities confiscated the truck and its cargo and suspended the company's permit to transport goods into the territory. Israel continues to enforce strict border controls on goods entering Gaza, saying the measures are intended to prevent the smuggling of illegal items and weapons. In other story, global oil prices rose by nearly 6% after U.S. President Donald Trump said a ceasefire between the United States and Iran was over, raising concerns about renewed conflict in the Middle East. The price increase followed a new wave of U.S. strikes against Iran and a U.S. decision to end a waiver that allowed Iran to sell oil on the global market. These developments have raised fears of possible disruptions to oil supplies. The Strait of Hormuz, a major route for global oil shipments, remain a key concern after recent attacks on commercial vessels passing through the area. Trump said he has no plans to continue talks with Iran, despite an earlier agreement that included a temporary ceasefire, safe passage for commercial ships, and negotiations toward a long-term peace deal. And finally, in the news outside the country, with reference to the Philippines, the Philippines has called for a legally binding United Nations treaty that would recognize senior citizens as rights holders, not just recipients of government care and assistance. During a United Nations meeting in Geneva, National Commission on Senior Citizens chairperson Maria Marcelitas Gutierrez urged the creation of a global framework to protect the rights, dignity, and welfare of older persons. The Philippine delegation also pushed for better access to affordable long-term and palliative care, stronger protection for caregivers, and greater participation of civil society in the negotiations. The proposed treaty is currently being discussed by the United Nations, with the Philippines joining other countries in support of a global agreement to better protect the rights of older persons as the world's aging population continues to grow. And that's the news at 12, July 16, 2026. We'll be back tomorrow for more news updates. Thanks to our news writers LJ Lorejo and Ian Buitre. And on the technical side, Ted Bobis, our Provincial Information Officer OIC Marty Gonzalez, and under the supervision of our Governor Noel E. Rosal, I am Greg Hallare. Thank you for subscribing. Albay in my heart.